Yo, what up? It is the 31st of October 2024. It is currently, my battery is running low. It'd be a good idea to save your game soon on a Thursday. It's actually currently 10:55 p.m. on a Thursday, my apologies. It's Halloween today. I kind of forgot about it because, we don't have a very big Halloween culture around here. At least where I've, grown up and stuff. Like stores, they'll do some Halloween stuff, but it's never super duper prominent. I personally, I'm a little baby, so I don't like horror, like movies or horror games. But I do like the spirit of the season, I guess. And I kind of, I want to get into horror stuff. Because it's probably, gives you some thick skin, but, yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, I'm not exactly in a position, but, that's enough. I've talked to death about that at this point. But yeah, so, Halloween. It's a fun time. Pansies, cosmos, roses, tubies. Wait, what are they called? Well, whatever. Grow! I'm glad Genji likes gardening so much. And Bree's here too. Well, actually today also, let's talk to Bree. There's so many ways to display flowers, aren't there? You can pin them to your hat, put them in your hair, or in a vase. What's more important is how you present yourself. You flower. It's a good way of looking at it. I guess everyone's into flowers right now. It's pretty topical, I'd say. If you didn't if you didn't know that my entire town's flowers got completely wiped out in a catastrophic event, probably wouldn't have noticed. Probably would have. Everything half off today. Oh, a shooting star just flew by. I was in the bulletin board. That was just not fair. Didn't go by very quickly, though. Oh, yeah, no, but today there was the most bizarre announcement. Nintendo Music. They, shadow dropped this announcement of a dedicated music app for Nintendo Switch Online members. That includes soundtracks from, surprisingly, not exclusively just Switch games. I was very surprised to see, Donkey Kong Country and Metroid Prime are part of the libraries in the announcement, and it wasn't just the most recent stuff. It looks pretty cool. I mean, personally, I don't dedicatedly, is that a word, dedicatedly? Yeah, I don't really listen to music just on its own a lot, which probably sounds weird. I don't use Spotify or anything. Sometimes I'll pull up a song on YouTube and just sort of, playlist through a bunch of different songs, but that's really the extent of, dedicated music listening. The other day I ran into Scoop. I never knew someone could be such a poor kid. Yeah, yeah, so honestly, the prospect of a, Nintendo Music app, it's not super, appealing to me, just because I don't really just, listen to music, especially because it's only on your phone, you can't, they didn't do it, let you do it on, a computer, which it's not they're exactly privy to doing anything involving computers, so I'm not exactly surprised, but I don't know. The other day I went to see a Taekwondo match with Peewee, but more memorable than the match itself was the pear salad I ate. Another shooting star! I'll never forget it. Okay, I've got to be on the lookout for shooting stars, I guess, because I think we've got a meteor shower happening at the moment. I'll just keep my hands empty for a while. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting announcement, to say the least, because, it's... Oh, did I not do... Oh, no, I did. Nintendo's, I guess, lack of support for being able to listen to their music is kind of an infamous thing. I mean, personally, I don't know. I'm kind of ambivalent on it, because I think, you don't get to own the music, you don't get to download it. Well, no, they said you could download it, but I think to access the app in its entirety, you need to have a Switch Online membership, which You know, personally, I always have, because, you know, I kind of, it's just sort of my default, but obviously for some people, that's not gonna apply, so I don't blame anyone for finding that aspect to be a bit disappointing. But also, like, oh, we're showing a shooting star. There we go. I'm sorry I didn't show it on camera, but I don't want to rapid fire and like break this DS in half or something. Rapid fire. That's not the terminology. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't. You know, it's not. It's about what you would expect, honestly. Yeah, but if I really wanted to listen to Nintendo music, I'd probably just like download a bunch of it. Like, there's tons of websites that just house video game OSTs that I could just, you know, download music from. Which I wouldn't. It's like, I know people are usually pretty averse to they're talking about piracy in any way, but I don't even know if that counts as piracy because there isn't a legally viable way to acquire Nintendo music. I guess technically now there is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know how that works exactly, but I don't really think it's not allowed. Because it's not like you're taking away from a specific sale of music, because they don't sell the music. I mean, yeah, that's probably what I'll do, but I personally just don't really listen to, well, I do listen to music. Also, I guess I should, I mean, they had New Horizons, the OST for that on there as part of the library, which, obviously that's a good choice, because that includes all the KK songs. I'm not a huge fan of the owly music in New Horizons, personally. It doesn't really hit the same way as, like, really any of the previous games, in my opinion. I wish I could show a shooting star, but it's a bit tricky. But, you know, yeah, having all the KK songs, that's good. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really, like, Spotify's kind of, like, I don't know, it just seems very, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not a good platform. Not having premium seems to condemn you to a ridiculous amount of advertising. In general, they don't seem to be very, like, you know, beneficial to artists in terms of, like, making money off of the service. Like, it doesn't, to me, it makes sense for someone to, you know, to want to make your own dedicated music app, because that just makes more sense in terms of revenue. Maybe I need a chair in that corner. No, that won't do. It would totally ruin the flow of the room. Disquest, do you spend a lot of time thinking about your decor? Excuse me. Maybe you and I can think about how to set up your place. It's not a bad idea. But I have done a lot of thinking on home decor. But yeah, I found it weird that they included, like, the Kirby's Dream Land soundtrack, personally, which, like, I really like Kirby music, but I feel like if you're gonna pick a Kirby game, I don't know why you would start with Dreamland other than the obvious fact that it's the first game in the series, but, like, there's not that many songs in Dreamland, and also it's notable for being remade, like, 2 times over, because Kirby Superstar has a remake of Kirby's Dream Land built into it, and then Kirby Superstar got remade with Kirby Superstar Ultra. There's 2 entire remakes of the Dreamland soundtrack, and then on top of that, all of the songs that are also in those 2 games. So I don't know why. I don't know. If you saw a shooting star, what would you wish for? New furniture. Good looks. Yeah, that's close enough. Well, that's my wish. You're trying to take over and push me into town, aren't you? No. Yeah, I kind of thought that was a bit weird, and, like, in terms of, like, system representation, I think it's a lot of some Switch games at launch, but, you know, like I said, I'm still kind of surprised that it has stuff from previous systems on it at all. I don't know. I kind of like... The thing is that, you know, you'll get, like... Some games just aren't as compatible with the idea of listening to the music, like, as a dedicated listen. Like, I don't know, just... A lot of, like, NES games, which I like the soundtracks of NES games, but, like, you're never gonna listen to, like, the Super Mario Brothers soundtrack while doing a workout, right? Like, it's not exactly the kind of soundtrack you would do that with. Hola, you look bored. How about I give you a little pop quiz? If you're right, I'll give you something unbelievably good. Okay, here's your question. What do I think is the most important aspect of a man? Courage? Wow, that's totally correct. How in the world did you know that? Well, I did just eat a bunch of garlic. Can you smell it on me? Here's that gift I promised. A graduation gown. Yeah, a graduation gown. That's what I said. Yeah, take care of that for me, okay? Sure. But yeah, right. I think Kirby's Dream Land almost fits into that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like, you know, I like, what's the one? I like, Bubbly Clouds. That's a good song from that game's soundtrack. There's, I mean, I don't know, even like the, you know, the version of King Dedede's theme. It's like, you know, that's a very, you know, well-known, you know, theme, but it's appeared in pretty much every single Kirby game, and, you know, arguably the Dreamland version is the worst version of it because it's a way more basic loop, and just that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm ambivalent on it, like I said. Did I talk about the alarm clock, actually? They did that as well. It's very weird that they're just releasing this, like, random, like, separate stuff at the moment. I hear it's that they're trying to distract from the Switch 2 leaks and stuff like that. You know, once I get into something, I get way into it, right? Right, and what I'm into right now is collecting old school furniture. So if you find anything nice in that category, bring me it. Is a fish trophy old school? I doubt it. But I kind of like giving trophies to my villagers because I think it's funny. Here you go. Let me get this straight. You give me a fish trophy. What exactly are you trying to say here? I told you I'm mainly into collecting old school furniture. Okay, jeez. I'm not going to try Pearl's pick or anything. Yeah, but they made an alarm clock called Alarmo, and it's got, like, custom alarms built into it, and, like, makes you get out of bed to disable the alarm, which actually, I don't mind that as a concept, because I personally, you know, with alarms, it's very easy for me to just sort of, you know, snooze it and then, you know, ignore it. So that's actually a cool idea. I don't know, just selling an alarm clock in 2024 is kind of a weird concept to me, but hey, that's Nintendo, that's what they do. But I almost wonder if they've had the concept for that for, like, ages, and they've only decided to do it now for whatever reason. And I think it is, like, they're rolling out non-game releases just randomly, maybe trying to, like, gather interest for their future stuff. I don't know. It's very strange. Yeah, I'm probably not going to use the either of those things. I would have. Well, I was going to download Nintendo Music, but then when I tried it, my phone is the phone I use is an iPhone 7, which, you know, I would. You know, that came out in, like, 2016, but I would think it's modern, but it's not anymore. It's, like, you know, 8 years old. I didn't get it in 2016, mind you. I got it, like, I don't know. It's been a few years with it. And I don't know, man. I don't really want to upgrade to one of the newer iPhones, because they get rid of, like, the buttons and stuff. Like, I don't like the idea of not having, like, a power button, or, like, a... You know, the home button, I mean. Just being a flat, like, tablet. I don't know. I just don't like that. Hey, how's the work on your house coming along? Perfecto. Oh, really? I thought you could use something like this, so here, take my old waitress shirt as a gift from me to you. I'm getting a lot of clothes today. Don't need them. Well, at the very least, you should try to display it nicely. I'm not going to do that, but thank you for your offer. Did I talk to Marina? I'll talk to her again if I already did. But yeah, my phone is now too old to get new updates, which is kind of annoying. So there's a lot of apps I just straight up can't get because they've been updating past the iOS that I have. And I don't know if I'm going to just end up giving in and getting a newer phone or something. It's not because I want the Nintendo Music app, mind you. But I don't know, there's nothing else really wrong with my phone enough to warrant it, and I don't really care for the idea either. Guess what? I ran into Fork the other day. Bit of a poor kid, wouldn't you? Okay, well, there you go. That's what I get for talking to Marina again. Potentially again. It might be the first time. But yeah, you know, I don't really use my phone very much. Like, I might... obviously messaging, like, is kind of an important aspect of it. So I need it for that. And, like, I don't... But there's some apps on there that, like, you kind of need. Like, I've got my banking app on there, and I can't really not have a banking app unless I want to just do it all on the computer, which would be really inconvenient. And it's, so, like, I have actually considered, like, downgrading to something, like, I don't know, way more basic. Just because I want to... Not because it's that, like, stupid, going off the grid thing that people try to do. It's more so I just kind of... I don't know. I want to just simplify a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I just don't care for having a phone that can do everything when I only want to do very specific things. For entertainment, I've got my computer. I'm just sitting here for a bit to fill the sound waves here. Yeah, I'm probably in the minority there. But I don't know. Also, I don't like how big phones are getting now. I have considered getting one of those folding phones that, like, flips into a tiny little square just so that I have less of a phone to deal with. Because honestly, like, even though I've got big hands, I don't like my phone being super big because it just makes it kind of inconvenient. Obviously, I use my phone for recording this series as well, so... Yeah, I mean... I don't know. It's a tricky thing where, like... I mean, I don't know. And I think a lot of the modern affordances of phones have made it worse because it makes people more distracted. Like, social media being so readily available now is just so... It definitely, like, affects people, I think. And, I'm not one of those everyone always on their damn phone types. Like, I don't really care if people are on their phones. I mean... if I'm talking to them in a conversation, I would prefer them not to just go on their phone in it. But, sometimes it's whatever. I don't really care. It's more so just... I don't know. Sometimes I think people get a bit controlled by technology. And that, people should maybe... Especially with social media stuff. Like, I don't really use much social media. I use YouTube, and then that's it. Like, I don't really have... I have Twitter, but I don't use it, because every time I go on there, which is very rare, you just sort of find a bunch of things that are designed to make you angry and engage more with the site, which is exactly what they want. And then I've never used TikTok, because I know if I had it, then it would just be doom scrolling for the rest of my life, which already happens on YouTube because of YouTube Shorts, so... yeah, and and honestly, if I didn't have to upload, stuff for this series, I probably wouldn't have the YouTube app on my phone. I might get rid of it, beginning of next year when this series ends. But yeah, I don't know what I'm leaving this with, because I talked about a bunch of different stuff, but that's gonna be about it for today. See you all next time.